I think there's several stakeholders that are interested and should be interested in measuring social impact. One would be regulators and funders of social innovation, social enterprise, and civil society organizations. Obviously, this is being triggered by interest in social impact bonds and things like social innovation, but most importantly, it should be the organizations themselves that are interested in social impact measurement, because eventually it's building a match between the mission and how they're achieving that mission, and they have to reflect on whether they actually achieve what their goals are. And impact measurement is a way of making sure that this is actually happening. I guess there are many pressures that are being put on civil society organizations, mainly with a focus on monetary benefits, on returns. But I think in a way that's misguided, because it's not in line with the mission of the organizations. And if they're doing it, they should really do it in order to find out whether they're achieving their mission or not, and to focus on the social aspects rather than on the economic and socio-economic aspects, which are important but are secondary to what they're doing. I think there are three skills. One would be a strategy skill, which means, getting back to the point that I made earlier, is to make the transition between mission and impact measurement. That is, to find out what the core of the mission is, and this is not trivial, because there are often many hopes put into projects and organizations, but you have to find out what the main thing is that you want to achieve. And then the second skill would be translation, which means that you have to translate your goals into dimensions that you want to focus on. And I think the third one would be research, and research in the sense of, not in the sense of self-advertisement, but in self-advertisement in the case of my organization, but it's more about really finding out how can I operationalize the dimensions that I've identified. And there's so much out there that you can use, previous research, previous studies, that you don't have to invent things from scratch. So you should first look what's out there, what can I use, and in order to find that out, you need to have some overview, and that's why I say research. I think one aspect definitely is collaboration. So it shouldn't be that researchers are doing very high-level studies that you're never going to be able to execute in practice, and at the same time it shouldn't be like that practitioners think that research is so detached that they can't really learn from it. So it would be collaboration between the two. And I'd also challenge the statement that you often hear that small organizations can't do impact studies. Of course, they probably can't do a very large-scale quantitative study and have statistical significance. But at the same time, I'm also advocating qualitative approaches which you can use to track impact, and in some cases even more precisely or better than if you use a quantitative approach. And that can be done with a very low level of efforts. And maybe as a concluding statement, if you feel or you don't have the resources to do a proper impact assessment, I don't think that it's worthwhile to do it at all. Because if you don't have a proper claim that is robust, then you shouldn't waste, as you said, the money and resources that are very limited, especially for smaller organizations, to doing that. You might report things in other ways, but you probably shouldn't try to attempt to do a great and robust impact assessment.